Boundaries for authentic connection in relationships. Despite what many people think, boundaries actually allow us to get closer, not farther away from people, because boundaries keep us safe. Boundaries tell others how we want to be treated and what we need to really and truly fully connect and access our pleasure, access our yes, access that deep place of connection that we really long for in relationship. So boundaries are not walls. They are strong, but they are also flexible. And boundaries decide what comes in and what goes out, right? Boundaries are like cells of a membrane. They allow for energy to come in, but only certain types of energy that we would like to come in, right? And boundaries are really good at filtering all those people who cannot meet our needs, who cannot show up for us in the way that we want them to. And in this way, boundaries sort of filter out the people we don't want to really connect with in the first place. And so in this way, boundaries create not only physical safety, but also a lot of emotional safety. And it is this place of safety, both physical and emotional, that allows us to connect, to access our pleasure, and to really see the other person and allow ourselves to be seen as well. Now, boundaries have two currents running in them, the yes current and the no current. And if we really feel into our bodies, we can really tap into places of yes and places of no, right? Anything that is not a hell yes, like this place of yes, is a place of no. Unfortunately, a lot of us are not really accustomed to honoring and feeling and connecting with our place of no. And this really has a lot to do with early childhood development. If you had the chance, the privilege of watching toddlers grow up, you may have noticed that there's a big no stage. So when a toddler rises on their 2 feet and starts interacting with the world in a more engaging way with their hands, with their mouth, with their words, the first type of boundaries that they start testing is the no place. Everything is the no. No. It may be super frustrating for their caregivers, but what the child is actually doing is testing to see if their no is going to be respected. And if it is respected, they are much more eager to turn into a place of yes and actually say yes to things. Yeah? So everybody has different boundaries based on their upbringing, on their needs, on their personality, on their character types. And we really need to listen to our emotions and feel them on our body to really understand where is our no and where is our yes. So in this way, emotions inform our boundaries. I'm going to say this again. Emotions inform our boundaries. So if we're not feeling our emotions, if we're not listening to our emotions, it's really hard to understand what our boundaries are and then effectively communicate them to others. So we have 4 primary emotions: anger, sadness, fear, and joy. And these are primary because infants learn to recognize these emotions on the faces of their caregivers and start building relationship strategies on these 4 superhighways of these 4 emotions. So at any given point in time, we're feeling anger, sadness, fear, joy, or a combination of these. We're feeling them somewhere on our body, and it's really important to breathe, to get grounded and say, what am I feeling at this very moment in time? Where am I feeling it on our body? And what are these emotions trying to tell me? If this emotion could talk, what would it say? And then this can inform you of your boundaries that are really good to communicate externally and to maintain as well. It's one thing to understand boundaries and to create boundaries, and it's a whole other thing to maintain them, a lot harder, right? But this is where the work is. This is the beautiful work. And so connecting to our emotions creates the safety of the boundaries, which creates availability for pleasure and for authentic connection, which allows us to get our needs met, right? As human beings, we were born, we were incarnated in this body, and we have needs as part of this deal, as part of this package. We started having needs with our first breath, right? We didn't have many needs in the womb. It was safe, it was pleasurable, all of our needs were taken care of. And then we're born, and suddenly we have needs. We have needs even to breathe. We have needs for food, for safety, for warmth, for connection. Connection is really the mother of all needs. And we have these needs until our dying breath. Yeah, so human life is full of needs. And how do we recognize them? By listening to our emotions that inform our boundaries, that we can express to others so that we can be responsible for our needs and meet them in this way in connection, right? And the really good way of communicating our boundaries is always from a place of I. I need this. I am a no. I am a yes. I require this. I need this. And aftercare, this is how I want to be showed up for. So really talking about this place of I, right? Sometimes it's really also useful to ask your partner to repeat your needs, to repeat your boundaries, so that you can really feel heard and respected in your boundaries, which can be a very, very vulnerable place. But the better we are at communicating them, the safer we'll feel, the grounded and more present we'll feel, and the closer we can actually get in our relationships. And note that if your no is respected, you are much more able to access your place of yes in the relationship. So how you and your partner are in relationship with the no's really opens up a whole avenue of how to be treated and show up in the yes. So first comes the no and then the yes. So in summary, in our boundaries, we have two currents, two energetic currents, the yes current and the no current. We can tap in and understand them by listening to our boundaries. Our boundaries are informed by our emotions, which are felt on the body. There's 4 primary emotions: anger, sadness, fear, and joy. And the more clearly we're able to communicate our boundaries from a place of I, and the more our no is respected, and the more comfortable we are in stating our no, in showing up within our no, in maintaining our no, the more available we are to tap into our yes, to tap into our pleasure, to tap into our deep, authentic connection. This is Sonia Zilberman with The Rising Journey. You can find more information about my work at www.therisingjourney.com, and stay tuned for more talks about relationships and all the beautiful spiritual aspects of growth and expansion in relationship. Blessings.